Chronicles TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1.
Ah, Gina, good you're back. She's where she could go. The police must have finished questioning her then. Oh, how was it, Jeannie? Was it awful? Didn't bother me. Thank you for the papers you signed before. It meant we were able to investigate at Windy Banks. Oh, right. Don't you want to know how we got on? We've been ever so busy. What's the point in asking? Won't change everyone saying that I didn't. That's not... Gina, we came to ask for your final decision. Eh? What decision? About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you or not? I must submit the paperwork now if you like. Right, see? She really lost her fight all of a sudden. But I know that what it feels like. The worry is just so hard to bear. Oh, alright then, blimey, give it the rest with the eyes, Iris. So come on then, fill us in, who done it? Unfortunately, we don't know that yet. You don't say. We don't know yet, Gina. But Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you are innocent of this crime. And while we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish. Oh, yeah? Like what? Well, for example, the reason for you being there in the first place. I think I know now why you broke into Windy Banks that night. It looks like I'm going to have to take some evidence that clearly reveals the reason. I thrust it into Gina's face, or I could present it here calmly, I suppose. We found this in Mr. Windy Bank's storeroom. The manuscript of Iris' latest story. Oh, right. Well, that's good then. Curiously, the storeroom at Windy Banks showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like. With one exception, the box file that housed the manuscript. It was you, wasn't it, Gina, who broke the open box containing the manuscript last night? You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of the Baskerville was really there? That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it? Why did you tell us what happened, please? Alright, yeah, this Baskerville story, it's the latest Sholmes adventure, right? But it ain't been printed yet, so I figured it's gotta be worth a fair few pieces of silver, right? Oh yes, at least 5,000 pounds. What? So you attempted to sell Iris' manuscript, didn't you? No, Jeannie, how could you? What? Wait, no, hang on. Of course I weren't gonna sell it. All I wanted to do was find out if the manuscript, or whatever you call it, really was there or not. That's the only reason I was in that place. For Iris' sake? Isn't that right? We knew why you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did. But I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Jeannie. I just knew it. Well, when I saw the manuscript in the storeroom, it reminded me of what you said the night before. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced lies, a lot of them. But you just ain't realized it yet. I'm telling ya, that manuscript ain't a Windy Bank. You soon see it if you had a look. Come on, speed through. We've been here before. It's a flashback. We don't need this type of thing. By all means, hurry up!
Oh, Jeannie, that was so sweet of you.
Alright. I'll tell you why I did it. I just stopped looking at me like that, Iris. It weren't because of Iris, that's not why I did it. I just wanted to know the truth, that's all. You wanted to know if Mr. Sholmes was being honest, if he really deposited the manuscript at Windy Banks? It's like I told you the night before, I never had a father. But Iris' lot ain't like mine. She got her dad, only she can't see him. And I reckon that's gotta be harder. That's why she writes her stories. They're about her dad, really. That's what it sounded like to me anyway. Last night when I was listening to what you were saying, stories about Daddy? You mean they're not the adventures of a great detective, so much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner? Well, that's how I see it, yeah.
You're so thoughtful and so kind, Jeannie.
Yeah, we never thought any different, didn't we? Look, give it a rest, will ya? I ain't that chummy nonsense. Do you hear? I hate it. I don't trust no one, right? That's how I work. Cause if you don't trust no one can let you down. So leave me alone. Go on, Scapper. I hadn't noticed until now, but it's unmistakable. Right there on both sleeves of the Oh! Are some very suspicious red stains. What? Why are you looking at me like that? I think it might be worth presenting some of our findings in that area to Gina now. Present! Those stains on the sleeves of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet.
What? Blood, Mr. Naruhodo?
You don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourself, though. So could it be that blood that splattered from Mr. Winnybag when he was shot last night?
Let's not beat around the bush here. This trusty friend of mine will get results faster than anything else. Take it easy, Iris. Don't move, Jeannie. I'm going to shoot.
Oh, okay, that's just sad. Survey says... Purple?
Oh. Oh my. What the...
Forget the sleeves. The whole coat is covered in blood.
Of course.
The black color of the fabric was masking the stains. That's why we haven't seen them until now. And the blood has reacted with the chemical to turn a purple color, which matches one of the samples we have already collected perfectly.
Yes, now let's see, who had the purple blood? Ah, yes, it was the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, the victim of the murder case 2 months ago.
I knew it.
What? What are you all about? The victim? What did you mean?
It's a rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruto, but I think this makes things quite clear. It means the omnibus case is finally solved. The truth about who really murdered the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, is revealed. Oi! Will someone explain what's going on? Stop telling a half story. Oh, come on, son. We can see now that the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGillicud's overcoat. But in the trial 2 months ago, the defendant said this in his testimony. Now I ask you, what a good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fellow bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. But if you look at this overcoat now, it's clear. These stains could have arisen from McGilden trying to pull the victim to his feet. But rather... No. If that was what had really happened, the blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat. The only explanation for this pattern of blood is that it splattered over McGilda's coat when he stabbed the victim in the stomach. I've tried to run from the truth for long enough, but there's no escaping it now. The true culprit is in that case. Mr. Mason's killer was Magnus McGilded. Okay, but we have yet to ask her about the representation thing.
Naruhodo.
That horrible case is solved at last, and I helped the man walk free from that trial. I used all that twisted testimony and all that sham evidence to prove his innocence. How could I let that happen?
Runo, did you believe him though? Did you believe Mr. McGilded was innocent?
I believed, or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to, because believing in those you represent in court is a defense lawyer's greatest weapon.
A weapon?
Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson.
You mean Kazuma-sama?
Listen, Ryunosuke. We lawyers are only human. We can't know for sure what is the truth and what is a lie, which is why we must resort to any primary weapons. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have. Unwavering belief. Only when we truly believe what our clients tell us can we fight with everything we have for their cause. In any battle, there can be no victory without faith. So I believe you, unwaveringly. What's funny, Gina?
Sounds like an empire old Japan you came from. Everyone must be soft. Well, come on, look at the mess it got you into, believing in that bug trotter.
Yes, and eventually helped a murderer walk free.
Well, at least you learned your lesson now, eh? Believing in people never worth it. Someone always stabs you in the back in the end. Soon as you let your guard down, you had it. Take a leaf out of my book. Believe no one, get hurt by no one. Gina, may I ask you something?
What?
I'd just like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial? Oh, how many times do I have to say it? Rip them up and chuck them away. Oh, you're really sure? That's what you want? I bet that's what all wants now, Mr. I'm a believer lawyer over there. Don't forget it. It was me in the trial 2 months ago. I led everyone in the garden path, didn't I? And you're telling me you can believe in me after that? Not likely. Well, Mr. Naruhodo?
A lawyer's primary weapon is an unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I feel I can trust Gina after everything that happened. Gina, let me say it again. Please allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial.
Are you half-baked?
Not at all. You've not once admitted to committing the crime, have you? What's more, I believe that you're telling me the truth.
Seriously, Mr. Naruhodo?
Naruhodo?
Didn't you hear all what I said before? I'm a born liar. Fibs just trip me off me tongue. And I'm a diver, don't forget. I pulled the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and got you into all sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? I just don't get it. Gina, I do understand why you choose not to put your trust in others, but I assure you, there is more to life than you yet realize. What do you mean? The world we live in is full of people you would do very well to trust. People who won't ever let you down.
It's true that I'm a student of law, and I'm certainly lacking a courtroom experience. But I can promise you this. Whatever happens, and until my very last breath, I am completely on your side.
What? What do you expect me to say that? Then it's decided. I will take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparation for tomorrow's trial. It would be a shame to throw them away now after it's been penned when your name so beautifully. Don't what you like. You Eastern lot are... Don't know what you are. I don't get ya. Gina's taken herself off the back of her cell. She never admitted, but I hope she's feeling relieved. That turned out alright in the end, I think. And with that... Who's hiding there? Show yourself at once. Eavesdropping is height of cowardice. Mr. Sato? Somebody's in the shadows. I can sense it. Somebody who wasn't there before. What? Blimey, you're sharp, eh? I suppose you were using one of those mythical Japanese arts, like the arts of stealth I've heard so much about. If anyone was being stealthy, it was you, Inspector. Crazy? Oh dear me, I'm most so terrible about your relationship. I didn't mean to startle you. How long have you been listening in our conversation? Good grief, listening? No. I just got word that there were some visitors who were refusing to leave, even though it was after hours. I assure you, your ladyship, I only just arrived. That very minute, not a moment earlier. That is all, nothing untoward, nothing at all. After hours? Is that late already? So then, I'll humbly excuse myself now, your ladyship. Ta-ta, toodle, cheerio, all the best, bye-bye, and bye. That's a lot of farewells, and not one of them appropriated for her ladyship. Oh, but I wanted to have a chat. I am terribly sorry, but time is present at the minute. Oh, I see. That's a shame. If I don't get this emergency at the Supreme Court dealt with Sharpish or Strongheart, well... Emergency? Long Strongheart? Nothing, forget I said anything. Anyway, ahem. Off I'm off. Alright, Briggsy, if you have to. Well, let's chat soon. Delighted, charm, can't wait. If you please, my pleasure. That's a lot of pleasantries, not one of them sounding sincere. Breggsy's so funny, he says such silly things. It's certainly entertaining to see an inspector of the police falling to a 10-year-old girl. Well, anyway, I wonder what this emergency is at the Supreme Court. I must attend the court clerk's office now before it closes. Yes, of course. Thank you, Mr. Sato. Kindly escort Iris home now, Mr. Naruto. I shall meet you there later. And so our investigation came to an end. Susato-san went to file the necessary papers for my defense of Gina the following day, and then it hit me. I could no longer suppress the wretched feeling that I had been gnawing away at my insides. Tomorrow, Susato-san would be leaving Britain and making her way back to Japan. Naruto, it's been a very trying day, hasn't it? I do hope you're not too exhausted. What about you, Susato? Today has been very more trying for you, I'm sure. Mr. Shanks was shot before our eyes, Gina was arrested. All the back of the news of that her father has fallen ill and that she must return to Japan at once. I hope your father recovers soon. Thank you for your kind words. I wonder why it is that so many thoughts rage in my head like a storm, and yet I seem to unable to find the words to express any of them. I know exactly what you mean. Anyway, I have one final task to complete as your judicial assistant. Once that is done, I shall make preparations for my departure tomorrow. One final task? It's just 2 months since we arrived in London. But we managed to establish this office. It was funny feeling as though we were settling in. I would be lying if I said I felt no regret. I'm so sorry, Susato. It's just so sudden. I really don't know what to think. I've had no time to gather my thoughts. I know. We've been here for a short time, but in my limited experience of the courtroom, I feel I've learned something. And what would that be? It seems to me that there are many facets to people's personalities. Facets? And like a jewel, the light plays off them in a complex pattern, illuminating their actions and their motives. But we only see a small number of total facets, and what is illuminated is only part of a whole story. What lies in the shadows? What do the facets we cannot see look like? Perhaps there are some parts we'll never lay eyes on for as long as we live. That's so true. Sometimes I feel as though I'm blind too much, but I kept hoping that one day it will all become clear, that all the facets will be illuminated, and I'll finally understand how everything fits together. Naruhodo-san, I suppose what matters is that we keep our eyes open and keep moving forward, even if the way sometimes seems dark. It's amazing to think it's been just 2 months. You've grown up so much. Sorry? I've what? Oh no, it was nothing. Unimportant. Do you know what time you will leave London in the morning? Yes, I picked up my ticket earlier. I shall be leaving here at 4 a.m. I see. Well, I'll escort you to the station. Absolutely not. Sorry? I'm sure you realize why I couldn't possibly let you do that. You have a very important day ahead of you tomorrow. Gina's trial. Yes, I know, but every word you utter will have the potential to determine Gina's fate. You must get as much rest as possible. Even though, like me, I'm sure you will find it hard to sleep. But please, for me, do try. You mentioned one final task a moment ago. What did you mean? Oh, my, I nearly forgot. Please, I want you to have this. What is that? Some huge bundle of documents? It's my notes from the case 2 months ago. The murder that was committed on the omnibus. The McGilded case. It seems to me that this case of Mr. Winnipeg's murder, of which Gina is accused, is very much tied up with the omnibus case, in ways that are not yet completely apparent. So I took the liberty on consolidating my writings about the case for you, with everything else she had to think about. Susato-san still managed to do this, and all neatly laid out for me in her beautiful handwriting. It was my pleasure. I can only hope that it will bolster your case tomorrow for Gina. Thank you so much, Susato-san. I'll do my best to use it wisely. You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure. Sorry? I didn't quite catch what you said there. Oh, ignore me. I was just mumbling myself. Well, it's getting rather late. I think you should go to bed now, Naruhodo-san. I must finish packing up my things in my room. Susato, I wish you the very best luck tomorrow. Good night. Wait! There's something I need to say. Ah! What was that? A secret technique of mine. The Susato shutdown. Shutdown? I can see. Please, I implore you. If we have to voice our goodbyes, I won't be able to hold back my tears. And we're gonna sleep off like this? Susato-san. We're actually gonna sleep like that. Nice. It truly had been a trying day. On our feet for hours, getting Gina to open up to us, and learning the truth about the nemesis of a case. Physically and mentally, I was exhausted, and yet the idea of sleeping seemed impossible, but I forced myself to close my eyes. And as a cacophony, whatever that shit says, of scenes of our lives here in London played through my mind. Eventually, my fatigue triumphed, and I fell into a deep sleep.
we yet? Small Hours, Saint Sinners Hospital. What? Yes, I quite understand. That is a great weight off my mind. Hey, yo? Rest assured, I shall put everything in place, exactly as we have discussed it.
Thank you so much. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be acquainted with you, Mr. Sholmes.
On the contrary, the pleasure has been mine. I bid you farewell, and Godspeed. My dear madam. Like, comment, subscribe, Chronicles XTB, and I'm... Wait a minute. We'll discuss in the next episode. Like, comment, subscribe, Chronicles XTB, I'm signing out.